to The Way Home with Laura Smith, the show that brings you wonderful guests, helpful advice, and uplifting stories. The Way Home. Live inspired. Here's your host, Laura Smith.
Well, it's the day that millions of Americans have been looking forward to, right? Super Bowl Sunday. And I'd like to say that maybe I was going to have somebody interesting like Travis Kelce on, or Taylor Swift, or maybe even Tom Brady. But I have somebody even more important in my book, and that's a dog named Rockney. What? What does that have to do with the Super Bowl? Well, you know, every year for at least 20 years now, there has been the most wonderful puppy bowl that happens on Animal Planet, usually around 2 o'clock before Super Bowl Sunday and before the actual game takes place. And this year we have a local guy in Indiana. His name is Rockney. He's a beautiful terrier, and he was chosen as the representative for the state of Indiana in the Puppy Bowl this year. So if you watch today, and I'm sure you will, because who doesn't love to watch the Puppy Bowl? You'll get to see him, how cute he is. He's beautiful, actually, and we're going to have fun with that. Speaking with someone who has been fostering him, Jen Schwartz. She runs the Homeward Bound Animal Welfare Group in Middlebury, Indiana, and she is the one that made him available for this top spot in a great show today. So looking forward to that. We'll be speaking with Jen and Rockney. And then also, along the vein of sports, we have a gentleman by the name of Don Wiseman. And guess what? He's wise. Not only is he wise, he's still active and teaching. He is a golf instructor to anyone of any age. And he's so sought after in the northern Indiana area. And he has his own methodology of teaching that has made his students absolutely love him and turn into good golfers because of it. So we're going to be hearing from Don Wiseman. And of course, we have good news stories at the end of every program with Jim Clefield. He is our star for the day, too. When you come back, we'll be hearing from Jen and Rockney. You're going to hear all about the Puppy Bowl today.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Way Home with Laura Smith. Here's Laura.
You have the Super Bowl. Okay, we all know that millions of people watch that. But did you know that there is something that happens before the Super Bowl that I think probably even more people watch? And that is Animal Planet's Puppy Bowl. That's right, Puppy Bowl. And who do we have in studio today? Well, Jen is not the puppy. But Jen Schwartz is the executive director of Homeward Bound, which is a wonderful volunteer-operated dog rescue in Middlebury, Indiana. And she has brought Rockney, and he is going to be on TV.
He's going to be on TV, yeah. We were lucky enough to be asked to be the Indiana representative for the Puppy Bowl this year. And while he won't be participating in their actual activities in New York, which is where they actually hold it, he will have a short segment, and he's got a live spot on our webpage, homewardboundawg.com, that you can visit. But he is about a 5-month-old Scotty. We chose him because originally the Notre Dame mascot was actually an Irish Terrier, and we didn't have an Irish Terrier, but we have a Scotty. He's a Wheaton color, which is an alternate color for a Scotty. They're typically black, so he looks a little bit more like a Westie would, if everybody might know what a Westie is. He's just more of a straw color is kind of what the Wheaton is.
He's blonde.
Yeah, so he's very sweet. He's about 5 months old. We actually did his photos and his videos for the segment on Sunday, which is at 2 o'clock Eastern.
Okay.
Sometime after it starts, and we actually did that the indoor over at Notre Dame, so he got to be on some hash marks there and run around a field and play with some toys.
Oh my gosh.
But he's being very good for us right now.
Now what happens? What is the actual premise of the Puppy Bowl besides getting just to look at a bunch of adorable puppies?
So the Puppy Bowl really got put into place. I think this is the 21st, if I read that correctly. Just to promote adoption, just to let people know, that there are lots of shelter pets that are very happy and friendly and cute and just ready to go into your home.
Adopt, don't shop. And so is Rockney available for adoption?
Yes, we've had to hold him until he goes live today.
He does.
Goes
oh my
live
gosh.
today.
Can you imagine? You could not only have just the most adorable, beautiful puppy ever. He's so sweet, but you could have a rock star and in Rockney and a TV star. I mean, he's going to be adopted like immediately.
We hope so.
Yeah.
And if not him, take a look at our other dogs.
I'm sure. And how many dogs do you have at
Oh, gosh. Any given time, we probably have 150 dogs available for adoption.
Now, rumor has it, somebody loves your organization so much, Jen Schwartz, that they have donated money for a new building, and it is being built as we speak. Has it started yet?
That is no rumor. That is true. We are currently putting a building on the ground over in Elkhart County. And we are hoping to have, some sort of grand opening this spring. I hope to be in it prior to that, but have a grand opening this spring.
But Homeward Bound Animal Welfare Group. So you focus on dogs, but do you have cats too, or is it just mostly dogs?
We only do dogs right now. I personally have cats, and we do have some very good friends that do cat rescue. I have some great friends at Cat Snip. So we're actually hoping not to branch out into cats, but we're hoping that our efforts can in turn help efforts with some cats, with some other organizations who are already doing that very well.
Yes. And also you said that you're in no competition with any humane shelter like the one in Elkhart, the Elkhart Humane Society, but you're going to work you're going to partner a little bit and try to help see where you can maybe help one another.
Absolutely. I do really believe that we're just better together. Mm-hmm. And I am really hoping that our presence there can help, maybe not with some short-term dogs that are easy for them to find homes for, but maybe with some long-term medical dogs.
Yes.
Things come in like heartworm positive dogs that takes a little while to treat. Or sometimes a shy dog. Mm-hmm. Maybe that just needs some time to acclimate.
Sure.
And he's going to talk to.
Look, he wanted to talk.
Or orthopedic issues. There's just any number of things that can come in that just take a little bit of time. Mm-hmm. And maybe they just need a spot to land. And we're really hoping to fill that for them and just help our community.
How did you start? Honestly, do you just wake up one morning and go, I've got to help dogs? Or is it something you just kind of started doing and fostering different dogs? And then next thing you know, you're starting a 501c3?
It was kind of the next thing, Yeah, I never wanted to have a dog rescue. I did not want to have a dog rescue, but I was just helping a lot of other organizations because I always loved dogs, and I was doing a lot of transporting, which is a big deal. If you ever have time or want to use your vehicle to transport dogs, there's almost always dogs in need of transport here, there, and everywhere. So I was doing a lot of that. One weekend, some group was supposed to take a couple dogs that I had picked up, and they couldn't take them. And I thought, well, gosh, I guess I could get them spayed and neutered and find them homes. And, that was prior to 2008. In 2008, we went ahead and started the 501c3. And, here we are 17 years later. It'll be 17 years in May. And we're about 11,000 dogs in.
Wow. I get goosebumps because that is really incredible. Obviously became a calling.
Yeah. I really like the medical side of it. I do.
You like the medical?
I enjoy working with the vets.
Do you work with them? You mean during surgery and things like that, or just to make sure they get the care that they need?
I just find it interesting to, try to figure out sometimes what's the issue and how to resolve it, or we have heart issue dogs that we take to Purdue for surgeries, or mm-hmm. or down to Indy, or my goodness. I just enjoy that part of it, and we have some local vets that I really enjoy working with.
And I know that you said you're a volunteer only
mm-hmm.
staff,
yeah.
So no one at Homeward Bound is getting paid, but the love that they must put into it so that all these 11,000 dogs could get adopted over the years. Are you looking for volunteers, especially when your building is finished?
Yes, please. Yes, come help us. We have a volunteer form online right now, homewardboundawg.com. You can fill that out. We are compiling a list of people and what they'd like to do. And we also always need foster homes. We need foster homes now and forever.
Now and forever.
Yep.
For sure. And give the website one more time, because it's Homeward Bound Animal Welfare Group, but it's just the acronym for that.
homewardboundawg.com. Be careful not to put 2 D's in it. It's kind of fun to try to spell dog at the end, but that's not.
Okay.
It's only 1 D.
Homeward Bound Animal. No, AWG.com.
That's it. Yep.
AWG.com. Yep. Jen, you're a doll. Rockney is, I don't know if there's some award that's going to be given out, but he's winning. He is winning.
He is a winner.
He's the most beautiful little thing. And he's so sweet. He keeps trying to talk on the microphone, but I don't know.
He's curious.
He's curious. He was kind of sniffing it and licking it. So, well, thank you so much for all you do on behalf of the dogs in our area. We just, it's people like you that truly make a difference, and you're doing God's work.
I appreciate you guys having me in. It's very nice.
All right.
It's been very nice meeting you.
Yes, you as well. And good luck with the Puppy Bowl this Sunday.
Go if I win.
Go if I win. 2 o'clock on Sunday at Animal Planet. And you will see Rockney there.
You're listening to The Way Home with Laura Smith. Once again, here's Laura.
Well, I don't know about you, but sometimes when it comes to going on vacation, I end up being so stressed out about getting all the details, packing everything, making sure everything's okay, that when I get back, I sometimes feel like I need a vacation from my vacation. And I know that sounds crazy, but I think there's a lot of people like me. Well, last week, believe it or not, was National Plan for Vacation Day. And I like the sound of it. And we have an expert here with us that is going to tell us the advantages of planning for your travel. Emily Kaufman, the travel mom, how to use those vacation days and make them incredibly easy. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. And never fear, Laura, the travel mom is here. I've got some tips and pointers to help make that vacation planning less stressful and more enjoyable for everyone.
Oh, thank you. Do tell.
Well, first and foremost, you've got to pick a vacation destination and hotel that match the flavor and the personality of people taking the trip. Hilton conducted a survey and found that the number one reason people are traveling is for rest and relaxation. So it really matters where you stay, because the hotel stay makes or breaks the entire experience.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. And again, I'll reiterate that what happens is I'm so stressed out about if I have everything planned, and I kind of pack too much into my things sometimes that I really forgot the reason that I wanted to do it in the first place, which was to just chill out and really have a break. But I haven't done something that many people have tried, and that's one of those all-inclusive resorts. I've never done one. I really would love to try it. I'm very tempted. Is that something that's gaining traction, or do people find that having an all-inclusive type of situation, it actually helps them to be able to have a vacation and really relax?
Well, for someone like you in particular, Laura, who is stressed about the planning, the Hilton all-inclusives take that worry away, because for one price, you're getting your accommodations, your meals, your activities, snacks, even alcoholic beverages. So you don't have to stress out about all that. What are we doing for breakfast? And at breakfast, worrying about what you're going to do for lunch. And then at lunch, should we meet for cocktails before dinner? All of that is included. And I'm obviously the travel mom, and I traveled with my children when they were younger. Now I'm the travel grandma, and I have a new grandson. Remember, those kids would get a smoothie and they'd take one sip of it and then they'd run off and be playing in the pool and come back. It's all melted and they want a new one. You don't have to stress about that, because all-inclusive means you can have as many of those as you want.
I like that, especially if they have a little umbrella in them. Mommy needs her smoothie too.
Yes, and there are plenty of those for mommy.
I think that's so great. And Hilton is such a legacy brand. I'm imagining that they, more than almost anybody in the universe, probably knows how to do this so that it feels right. Because I get a little fearful when I think all-inclusive, that I'm like, well, maybe the quality isn't quite as good, the food isn't quite as good, because they know people are, paying one price and they're not going to notice. But I can't imagine Hilton putting together something that's less than top of the line.
Absolutely. And I love that word that you use, legacy, a legacy brand. It's a brand that I trust and that I know. And there are so many brands under the Hilton umbrella that offer something for everyone. As I mentioned, I'm a grandma now. I love their Embassy Suites product, because with my grandson, we can spread out with 2 rooms. He can be napping in one room and we can be off in the other room. They have a complimentary cook-to-order breakfast. They have a manager's reception in the afternoon. You could even get your cocktail, hopefully with an umbrella in it, Laura, at no charge in the afternoon. They will guarantee you connecting rooms as a family at the Hilton brand. And lots of them have added value where they give you a complimentary breakfast across the board.
That's incredible. Now, where would I find these all-inclusive Hilton resorts? Are they everywhere in the United States? Are they international?
Yep, they're all international. I just recently stayed at one in Cancun in Mexico, the Hilton Cancun. That was fabulous. It had something for everyone, 2 different pool areas. One that was for families with a play center in the middle of the pool with a little water slide. And then there was an infinity peaceful pool that overlooked the ocean. So you can really spread out. I love them in the Caribbean and Latin America and Mexico.
Oh, that sounds just beautiful. And even, how about Europe? How about South America? Asia? Do you have various properties around the world?
Well, the beautiful thing about Hilton is they are everywhere. They're an international global brand. And if you go to Hilton.com, you can learn about the range of offerings they have in all the different locations.
And so when you say all-inclusive, are there activities that you can opt into or opt out of, that type of thing?
Absolutely. Yoga classes or fitness classes for an additional charge. Many of them have spas. They also have cooking demos and cocktail parties and all kinds of fun entertainment in the evenings. It's just a great way to travel.
It really sounds like it, and I have wanted to do this since I started in radio 27 years ago. We were giving away on the station trips to sandals or something like that. I remember it was almost 30 years ago, but and thinking, I've got to try this. And here I am almost 3 decades later, and I'm still thinking about it. I am going to bite the bullet, and I think going with a brand like Hilton, that will take a lot of the stress out of it for me too. I just know I'm going to get quality, and I always have. We've been, since I was growing up overseas and we traveled all over the world, Hilton was always the brand we stayed in, no matter where it was. But I never did the all-inclusive. I'm going to try that, and since National Plan Your Vacation Day was last week, I've got to get on it right away. Where can people go to find more information about this, Travel Mommy?
So they can follow me at The Travel Mom on Facebook or Instagram. I'm not a travel agent and I don't sell anything, but I can certainly help guide or answer any questions. And to book, whether it's a Hilton all-inclusive or any of their other brands, go to Hilton.com.
Very easy. Once again, Emily Kaufman, the Travel Mom, and let her help guide you to take all the stress and risk out of a vacation so that you know it's going to be wonderful. Thank you so much. I can think of nothing better as I'm sitting in freezing cold, snowy Midwest right now than to think about one of these trips. Thank you so much for joining us on the way home. Emily Kaufman, the Travel Mom.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Way Home with Laura Smith. Here's Laura.
Well, I met a good friend over our trip to Europe last year with the radio station, and she is somebody I really admire. She and her husband, he's a doctor, and she is retired now, but living her best life, she says. And she told me the other day over lunch, she said, Laura, you have to have on Don Wiseman. And I said, really? Who's that and why? And she said, he's my golf teacher, and he's the most fascinating person you've ever met. And not only am I learning golf, but I'm learning about life, and I've met the greatest group of new people in the world. And I said, well, that sounds great. I'd love to have him. And she goes, he's 85 years old and still teaching all the time. So I'd like to introduce to my program Don Wiseman. His wife, Marcia, is going to join us in a little bit. Also, welcome to the show, Don. Thanks so much for agreeing to do this.
Thank you.
So tell me, you are a golf teacher. You're 85. How long have you been teaching?
Since 1980s, early 1980s, probably.
Okay. And so what is it that you have some technique that people are flocking to your is it a class or is it one-on-one instruction?
Well, it's both one-on-one, and I used to do IUSB, and now I do Penn High School, and so I have some classes of 20, 30 people, and then I have some classes of just individuals, one or two, okay, which is how I met Catherine.
And if you're wondering what IUSB is, it's Indiana University at South Bend.
Oh, yes. My father went there. He went there. I don't think he ever played golf, but so I know that where that is, but I love it. So Catherine is one of the youngest retired people I have ever met. She's so young in spirit, but she talks about this incredible group of people. And Marcia, you are the wife of the instructor, but you're also taking lessons from him. How does that work out?
Well, I'm not his best student. I'm probably his worst student because it's difficult to take instruction from your husband without, your personal relationship. Sometimes you feel like he's attacking you personally when he's just actually trying to help you. And it's difficult to separate the two.
I can imagine. It's like if you're trying to teach your teenager how to drive or something. And, you probably say things a little bit differently, maybe with a different tone of voice than you would if it was just somebody else's kid or a friend in there. But I get it. And so you are taking the course. Now, what strikes me so much that my friend Catherine has said about you, Don, is that she said you have a method of teaching and you use deep wisdom and deep principles when you teach. Now, what does she mean by that? And how is it you incorporate into that? And it helps people to learn, because some of your students, like Marcia, she sounds like she's 32, but she's
really
not really,
well,
but
actually,
you do.
I started teaching. When I started teaching, I began to develop a little more each year, and I kept going down to a golfing machine school in South Carolina at Myrtle Beach in Surfside. And I met a man by the name of Tom Tomasello. And Tom was a teacher of the golfing machine. So along with 10 other guys, I entered that class, and I stayed with it for 15 years. Each year, I would go down for a semester, and I would take that class and come back home and work then for another year. And the next year I would do the same thing, go down and take another semester. And I came back and I just kept developing. And eventually somebody said, why did you keep going to school? And I said, I was afraid I'd miss something. So eventually I got a doctorate in geometrically oriented linear force, which is golf, the study of golf.
You got did you say a doctorate?
Yes.
Is that for real? I mean, do they really give doctorates in that?
Yes.
It sure is.
Wow. I mean, yes, I meant it in the sense that, it's actually, you take that course, you get a diploma in that. That is fascinating. So when you say a golf machine, now I know little to nothing about golf except for what little I've played in miniature golf with my daughter. And dated a golfer in high school. Other than that, I know nothing about golf. I would probably be your worst student. Your wife thinks she is. I would be your worst student. But what in the world is a golf machine?
It's a study of golf, and it basically comes to do you believe in God? And if you do, then you have no choice. You go, well, I'm going to do this or do that. And I go, no, you won't. Why? Because you are a child of God. And God says this is how you'll swing. And all the swings that I hear, all the stories I hear about golf are just over and over and over. Are you learning golf from God? Or are you learning golf from a magazine? God warns us about the problems with the earth. And you go, well, the earth, I have this idea or I have that idea. And when you read magazines, there's sometimes 100 different ways that they want you to just take the club back. Well, the golf swing itself is a circle around the body. There is nothing you can do except swing in a circle. And anybody that tries it differently is going to find out their body hurts. Okay? So once you learn this stuff, you go, well, what do I do? And I'd go, well, the golf swing is a circle around the body on a slanted plane with club face control. Well, I think I could do that. Well, anybody can. If you begin to work at it, I do tend to tell people all the time, the simplicity of golf is so simple that anyone can do it at any age. So there comes a time when people just go, well, I've had it, I'm going to learn to play golf. Just make sure that you get good information. If you get good information, you want to know that your teacher knows that the golf swing is a circle around the body on a slanted plane with club face control. And that all you have to do is take a step. Now, why do you take a step? You take a step because God said anything in motion will cause anything else in motion to change its weight and to change its motion. And you go, but I want to move slightly left. Well, I go, well, moving slightly left, 4 inches or so, or from a right leg to a left leg in a K and a reverse K. Is it tough? No, it isn't tough, but it does take a little practice. And, sometimes people just get so wrapped up in golf that they go, this is so tough. I'd go, you don't have to be perfect at it. After all, there are 1,000 pre-GA pros, and they can't do it right.
Right.
They cannot do it right. And they try to hit it down the middle of the fairway, and they end up in the right rough or the left rough. And you would just go, well, I can do that. Well, that's the idea. The idea is to hit it toward the green, toward the target. And there is no perfect in golf, and they recognize that in building golf courses. Golf courses are made 60 feet wide in fairways sometimes, and you go, well, I hit that one, and I go, well, the next one is 120 feet wide, and you go, well, I can keep it in that play, and you go, well, gradually you do learn to hit it toward the target.
Well, that helps when you have somebody like you standing there. I went to this outing with the company, and they went to this Top Golf place, and I found that I never hit the ball once until after a couple cocktails. Then I did, but it went in the total wrong direction. So I don't know. I think it's amazing that I had no idea. You say it's simple, and yet it sounds like there is a complex science behind it. And
well, there is as far as people are concerned and magazines are concerned. But in our study, it says that you'd need a different procedure. For people-shaped golfers, there's actually only one swing. You go, well, I've never heard that. I go, well, it's a study. And it comes from a book called The Golfing Machine. And it says geometric golf.
Show it to her.
You know?
Did you write the book? No.
No. But Homer Kelly in California wrote the book. He was an aeronautical engineer. And he simply said, there's got to be some rules. And so he wrote a book on it.
Uh-huh.
And it's the most accurate book that I've read.
I see.
And I've studied it for 15 years. I got pretty good at it. And I began to help people. And I told them, I said, you think you can do whatever you want, but God says, I want you to do it this way. It is the only way. And if you work at this, you can get pretty good at it. But if you vary, if you go, well, I'm going to do this, or this guy says to do it this way, or this one says to do it that way, you go, what is the rule then? I go, the rule is geometric. It is physical and trigonomical. And it's a matter of math. And if you change any number in a math equation, you go, well, then everything else changes. And I go, well, that's what God's trying to tell you. He's saying, why don't you just take your body and learn to push on your plane? Now, the average person doesn't know where their plane is. So they push and they try. But I tell them, if you don't know where your plane is, get in a tug of war with somebody. You'll find it real quick.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is so interesting to me. And people who love golf are so impassioned by it. And it's really at any age. My uncle played until shortly before he passed at 92. He was still going out there with his son playing. Donald Trump, President Trump, I think he hit a hole-in-one. Was it last year or 2 years ago? And
I don't know, but I
did.
do know he's a pretty good golfer.
He's a very good golfer, apparently. But I am so fascinated by the fact that you captivate people. According to my friend who's taking classes from you, she looks so forward to it. And she also has fallen in love with all of the students that she's learning with. Some of them, women in their 80s, are 70s and 80s. Marcia, you're part of that group, right?
I'm 83, Laura.
God bless you. And
I'll be 83 on Wednesday.
Happy birthday. And
thank you. And
do you think? Yes, go ahead.
I go on a golf trip every year now with 7 other ladies. We go to Gull Lake up in Michigan. And I told them recently that I'm getting too old. Well, they absolutely refused to believe it and said that they're not going if I don't go.
There you have it. Right, Marcia? So you're obviously crucial to this enterprise of your husband's here.
I think they like my jokes more than anything.
They like your jokes. She said that it is the most fun that she has had in so long. My friend Catherine, she loves these classes, women of all ages, and she says it's just terrific. And I think how wonderful to have something like that. Again, I don't understand why. Maybe it's because I'm left-handed. I just have never been able to shoot a golf ball anywhere. Don, you would have a heyday with me. You would separate me from the rest of the class because you would say this woman has special needs. She can't quite get it. And it would take me.
And that is what everyone that I do, every person that comes in goes, well, I have special problems. I have this. I say, don't worry about them. If you can walk in here, you can swing a club.
You've taught left-handed people.
Yes, I've taught left-handed, right-handed.
And actually, Don is left-handed.
And I've taught people that are blind, and I've taught people that have a leg missing, and I've taught people that have an arm missing. And
What? That's
yes,
amazing. How
They're very good.
I bet they are. I mean, so are you unique in that in the way, the methodology that you teach? Because you're teaching from the book that you have, the golf machine, and yes, and so is that gentleman still here on the planet? And
no, he isn't. He died probably 30 years ago.
Okay.
So,
but you are carrying the torch for him with his methodology.
And there's other teachers. There's schools in the country, but there's not a lot of them. But there's that can take you all the way to a PhD. Okay, but it doesn't really make any difference, because in golf, there are imperatives and essentials, things you have to do that somebody better tell you about, or you'll spend all your life trying to find how to make the ball fly straight. And making the ball fly straight is just developing a good habit. Okay? These imperatives and essentials operate to correct all faulty procedures. And if they seem elusive, it's invariably because you're trying to do them while you hit the ball in your normal and accustomed manner. That must all be reversed. You must learn to do these things even if you miss the ball, until you no longer miss it. There is no successful alternative. So I tell people, how many people do you know that play the game of golf that can hit the ball after 30 years? That shouldn't happen. We have 25 million golfers in this country, and you would think that by now most of them would enjoy the game. Instead, as many people that are joining the game are quitting the game. Why? Because they don't seem to get the fundamentals of the swing right. And in golf, all there is a weight shift. That means you have to take your weight from your right leg to your left leg. And there's also your arms extending away from your body. And that has to happen, and they roll out, and you have to practice it. If you don't practice it, you don't hit the ball very well. Right. So it happens that way. You go, well, I want to hit it while hitting balls. I go, no. What you want to do is develop a good performance of the golf swing. And once that performance is there, you want to be able to put it on the ball. And if you get a little better, you go, well, that works. I mean, the better I swing, the better the ball seems to fly. So, and people try to do things by feel. Well, there is no feel in golf. Golf is not a feel game. It's a performance game. And you're going to learn to visually recognize when you swing pretty well. And if you visually recognize it, do you need any truths than that? God says, look and see. You go, well, I'm starting to understand what he meant by that.
Okay. Well, he also said, seek and ye shall find. And that would be what I would need to learn, because I'd have to find all the balls that went in all the wrong places.
Well,
okay.
The average person thinks that's true too. But I'll tell you, after a while, you get to hit the ball from tee to green. And the real difficult part of the game is scoring. And scoring is all 10, 20, 30-yard shots to the green and getting it up and down. But even if you don't, and you shoot 100, that is a very good game. According to my book, my information, 25 million golfers are shooting better than 100.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's so impressive to me. And you're making me actually want to think about taking a lesson. My guests today are Don and Marcia Wiseman. Don has been well, not only teaching for decades, but he has his PhD in golf. Yes, you heard that right. And you can hear it with all the great truths that he's telling right now. And from someone, a dear friend of mine, who's taking instruction from him. Now that she's retired, she's having the time of her life. And she is absolutely loving not only his methodology of teaching, which makes her feel like she can do it, but then the camaraderie of the wonderful people that are taking the lessons. Where do you teach from? Do you go out on golf courses, or do you do it in front of a machine and in a building?
Actually, I have a shop that is 40 feet. It's in a pole barn, and I have all electronic equipment so I can see your ball fly. You can see your ball fly. You know, you can actually watch your thing, your swing, and you can, and we take a look at it. We go, hey, this is wrong, this is right. And that's called visual learning.
Visual learning. And
yes.
Don, how are you taking new students?
Yes, I do take new students.
Well, that is tremendous.
Matter of fact, I'm doing a guy from Battle Creek.
Really?
Next Thursday. Yes.
He's coming all the way down.
I've done people from Japan, Germany, all over the world that have come to my shop to learn to play golf.
That is amazing. I love it. And he's a legend, and he's right here in our own backyard in Michiana. How can people get in touch with you, Don or Marcia, to maybe inquire more about getting some golf instruction?
Well, I normally hand out my card, but the best thing to do is to call me on my phone and make an appointment.
Give the number.
Okay,
the number would be 574-276-8504.
All right, 574
276-8504.
Wow. Okay. That is absolutely terrific. I'm telling you, I never thought I would be so fascinated and captivated by just hearing your wonderful stories. Both of you, favorite golfers? Who are they?
Well, I like Jordan Spieth really well. And I guess because he has a handicapped sister, we have a handicapped daughter. Whoops, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah.
And he's very, very good with her. So to me, that's special.
Oh, 100%. That means a lot. How about you, Don? Who is your favorite golfer of all time?
Well, of course, in the days that I was, there was a fellow by the name of Arnold Palmer. Okay,
I like those drinks.
Like.
Yeah, I like those drinks. I'm just teasing you. What a wonderful, wonderful thing. My friend Catherine couldn't have been more right. What a fascinating person you are. Still giving lessons at 85 instructions to people of all ages. He takes anyone of any age and and of any ability as well. And so I find it just incredibly fascinating. You do need your own book. Catherine says you need your own video series. Marcia, you think we can get on this?
We'll see.
In all your spare time, right?
Right, exactly. Yes, in the summer especially, it's hard to do anything. It's, we don't go on vacation unless there's a golf course.
Makes all the sense in the world. Don and Marcia Wiseman, once again, if you would like to get golf instruction that incorporates everything from trigonometry to God's laws in the Bible, Don Wiseman is your instructor. The number again is 574
276 8504.
All right. There you go. Thank you so much. God bless you both. I appreciate it. And on this Super Bowl Sunday, I wanted something to do with sports, and you guys went above and beyond in every way. Thank you so much for joining me on the way home.
Oh, thank you, Laura.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Way Home with Laura Smith. Here's Laura.
So I don't normally get all involved, with the Super Bowl. But I have to say, over the past 5 years or so, I don't know what it took me so long to realize that it really is exciting and it's fun. So, but out here in the Midwest, I think people maybe choose teams differently than they do out east. But I'm still rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles today. Is that a good or a bad thing?
That's actually a good thing. And can I chime in on this? Actually,
yes, please do. Jim Clefield,
here's
my
the
guru
thing.
of good news.
Yes, if I may. First of all, my mom was born in Philadelphia, and I guess my family has been kind of Eagles in a way. My niece lives in Philadelphia. My second nephew, this is a very personal thing, and it's a really wonderful thing. He went to Penn State. He graduated about 5 years ago. He was, I would say, an acquaintance. I wouldn't say quite friends, but he knew Saquon Barkley, who just won Player of the Year for the NFL. I guess they met at a fraternity, so I kind of call him his friend. So when I say, oh, your friend is playing today, but he's going to be in the game today. So I would say for that reason alone, LJ, I will go to the Eagles.
Well, I love it. I sure do. All right. Well, there was that whole thing about that final play with the Kansas City Chiefs and the last game before this one. And because I don't understand enough about football to really know what was going on, but a lot of people said there was something shady about it, right? Am I right? Or
so
did
I've been
I make
told.
That up?
That's what I've been hearing. That's what's been circling around, let's say, football circles. Yeah, not the first time I've heard about this with the Chiefs.
Yeah, and since they win all the time, you know what? Give someone else a chance. I'm one of those.
Yeah, what's the big deal? Three in a row. So what?
Yeah. All right. Well, since we are absolutely the least qualified to be talking about football, I think we'll get on to what we normally do, and that's, Jim, give us some good news stories.
Sure. Well, we'll start off in Saginaw, Michigan. You may know where that is, not too far from you. But there's a man who had his bike stolen recently and just heartbroken. Not only was it his mobility, getting from A to B, traveling every day. I mean, this was his happiness. And nobody knows who took it. Well, the Saginaw Police Department did all these leads trying to find this perpetrator, the person who did it, whoever that may be. Unfortunately, they came up dry. So Detective Presley, being the generous and empathetic guy that he is on the force, and all of his fellow officers see this every day. You know what he did? Well, after coming up short and trying to find the person responsible for this theft, he decided out of his own pocket, with his own money, decided to purchase a bike for this gentleman to give him back that happiness, and it did not go unnoticed on the force. The police department wrote that what happened here, we were searching all these leads, we searched high and low, couldn't find anybody, but the detective decided to do this because he wanted to not only get this bike back to this man, he wanted to restore his happiness. And you can imagine, like, this man is so very happy because we've had stories on the show in the more than 5 years we've been on the air. And I think one thing that's permeated this show, LJ, we talk about kindness, we talk about generosity. This is a trait that this officer has. And to do this for this man, to give him back that bike, as I said, anybody could have done this, but it's really the least that he can do. So whether they catch the one who stole it or not, he's got his bike back thanks to this wonderful man, Detective Presley. And as they said, bravo, Detective. Good job.
Yeah, for sure. Now, did he do it on his own, or did the whole force join in?
Only him. It was all out of his pocket, his own money. Nobody else
Bless
helped
his
out.
Heart. Wow. What a kind and generous thing to do. Because imagine there's things like that happening all day long within the police force, within, trying to catch people that steal things. And you'd be pretty broke if you were trying to repay everybody with that. But he just probably couldn't bear to see this constituent or this person in his own area be so distraught without his bicycle. People's bicycles are very personal. I mean, that it means a lot to them, like our cars do to people who drive them. So that's a beautiful story. Thank you. And yes, Michigan is just 4 miles north of where I am right now.
Michiana, right?
Michiana, that's right. And what else do you have? Do you have another good story?
Yes, we do. Now, this time we're going to go to a small town in Iowa. And this involves, again, is something similar to a story that we had, I think, a couple of weeks ago where somebody was on the verge of taking his life and somebody saved him at the last minute. This is very similar to that. But sometimes, it's another small act of kindness, which we talk about, and this was in a small town. Cardinal Latej was talking to a classmate, and his classmate, we don't know who the name of the person is, was really distraught, was really planning to take his own life. Well, again, this is a very small act that just really means everything. A little conversation, simple conversation. Well, guess what? That conversation took him from the brink of taking his own life, and now he's turned his whole life around. And the school board in this small town in Iowa certainly recognized Carter's accomplishments just from this one little conversation he had with a classmate. And they said basically this, that no act of kindness, no matter how small, goes wasted. He certainly did not waste it on this one, because when it comes to saving somebody's life, that's more than an act of kindness. That's really heroic act, I think, as far as I'm concerned. And again, to Carter, I mean, the fact that, just whatever he did, whatever he said, just made a difference.
It was that one thought, or that one piece of nugget to hold on to give someone hope and stop them from doing the unthinkable. Wow, that's pretty amazing. And, sometimes we never know if we're going to be in that type of situation. What would we do? Would we be able to rise to the occasion, to say something, to step in on behalf of somebody who was feeling so down and out? Wow, that's a great story. And, the young people, it's for any age. You don't have to be old and wise in years to have those types of conversations. You can be in school and still make an impact on somebody. Well, wonderful stuff here. My producer and my wonderful voice guy over there, I hope you're going to have fun watching the Super Bowl. And they did this survey on some of the favorite snacks in Indiana or something. Popcorn came in second. And I was like, for the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Movies, maybe. Yeah.
Popcorn is a fairly healthy snack as snacks go.
Well, yeah, maybe that's why. But I think chicken wings were down like at number 11 or something. I said,
that doesn't make any sense.
Your pizza, your chicken wings, I could go for that.
Yeah, all of it sounds good. All right. Well, enjoy it no matter what. May everybody's best team win. And, just enjoy an all-American pastime, the Super Bowl. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and evening, and a great week, too. And we'll see you next time on the way home. Lots of love. I'm Laura Smith.
Podcasts by Federated Media.